I've been sober for a long time, but I don't feel like I was free from all of it until I found God. And then I started learning about transcendental meditation. I'd have anxiety at the airport. I'd go into the bathroom and like say my mantra, and then and I'll be fine. Breathing techniques, or these, or like spell work, or whatever, like nature worship. All these things. It's like my husband looks, and it was he screenshotted it, and it was just this possessed person.
Okay, we are going to react to the interview that Katvond did with Ellie Beth Stuckey on her podcast. We won't watch the whole thing, obviously, because it's an hour and 20 minutes. I'll link it down below. I did reach out to Katvond when she was talking about how discouraged she was when Christians were coming against her and were saying rude things about her. And I just messaged her on Instagram saying, praying for you, and there's more people for you than there are against you. And she responded with just like heart emojis and praying hands. And so, hey, I am praying for her. All these celebrities that are getting saved, I'm not the negative guy. This is what we're praying for. We're all on our own journey. We're all working our salvation with fear and trembling. And we need to give people space to grow, space to learn, just like we have. You know, I've been saved 13 years, and I have convictions and things now that I believe I didn't believe in my early days, and vice versa. So we all have to work out our own salvation through fear and trembling. Saying you're false, you're this, you're wrong, and being negative and bitter about people, especially celebrities getting saved, is the wrong move. So let's watch this. She has a lot of interesting testimony here about the new age, about her sobriety, and about her reaction. And so we'll watch a portion of that, and we'll just talk about it as we go. And I'll link the original video down below.
It can be Ozzy Osbourne or something, you know.
Yeah.
It's not. Whereas, like for me, I feel like I've been sober for a long time, but I don't feel like I was free from all of it until I found God.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I was sober for a long time, but I didn't feel free until I found God. What a powerful statement. There's a lot of people that might be sober, but they're still in bondage. They're still fighting the addiction. They're still in chains. I love what she says here is I was sober, but I didn't have freedom until I found God. So powerful.
I feel like that would be so cool if, whatever. I'm not going to really diss on the AA program because it helps a lot of people. But so yeah, I think that's when I just started looking into that type of literature, and then I started learning about transcendental meditation, and I was like, oh, like it was always these very like short-lived BandAids on a sinking ship, you know.
Yes.
That's kind of how I see it.
The new age, short-lived BandAids on a sinking ship. Isn't that such a good definition for what the new age really is? Oh, this is what Angela Ucci's always talking about on her channel, and I've had her on my channel, is it's crutches, it's a Band-Aid, it doesn't actually heal or fix the wound. Only something God can do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this feels really good, and I'm like so at peace, and I've like been able to like, I'd have anxiety at the airport, and I'd go into the bathroom and like say my mantra, and then and I'll be fine. It's like, but it was these crutches, you know?
Right.
So now I'm gonna fast forward to like the first post that I ever made about talking.
So the new age is crutches. Absolutely. It's a Band-Aid fix. It's a counterfeit to counterfeit spirituality. And it's like, man, some of these new age people are the most miserable, the most depressed, the most struggling people, yet they claim to have, power from crystals and power from this and power from that, when the only power that will truly change your life, truly deliver you from the powers of darkness, is the power of Christ.
About like throwing away my occult books.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that everybody kind of honed in, my fans included, on the witchcraft books, because there was a lot more of those than there was the others. But I actually threw away all my meditation books, all my books on yoga, all my, like, it wasn't.
Come on now. She says, I didn't just throw away my witchcraft books, which is what everyone was talking about, but she threw away her yoga books, her meditation books, all the new age stuff.
The stuff that people considered spooky, which, I don't think some of it is, but, and I think that it's easier to look at like a story, like what I wrote, and mind you, I prayed a lot about that post prior to doing it. Like I spent time on writing that caption because I knew the intentions behind it were to like start being able to talk about where I'm at in life, And
that was what, 2020?
Yeah.
Or so?
I think so, yeah. And
if you guys don't know, in 2020, she made a post basically with a bunch of like witchcraft books and new age books saying how she's throwing them out and they're no longer going to be a part of her life. And so I did a video on this before, but this is what she's referencing.
And it was such an, so I posted this post on Instagram where I just took a picture of a good chunk of these books that I took from my library. I have a library of like 300 to 500 books. And so this was a very small, like a small amount of books out of that collection that I just wanted to get rid of. Like I don't want to say that they were haunting me, but it's like I already knew they were there. I have my son who's growing up and is becoming curious, and it's like, there were some art books I threw away too that weren't in that picture that were like, I don't know if I want my kid to look at that, like.
It's awesome. The Holy Spirit's obviously convicting her to get rid of this stuff. And it's amazing when the Holy Spirit convicts you.
But to me, it was like I came to this really awesome realization that night that I decided to post that, was that like I don't want these crutches in my life anymore.
Come
And that's what I
on.
really saw them as. Is like, okay, like I just want Jesus, and it's a very narrow road, right? Like I feel
Yes.
like all these other like these breathing techniques or these or like spell work or whatever, like nature worship, all these things, it's like they're just crutches. They're not really like my answer.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would rather eliminate any distractions, and this is just for
Good.
what works for me.
So she's saying that these were all crutches, crystals and spell work and breathing techniques. These are things that people run to that prevent them from running to God. They run to the new age. They run to the counterfeit instead of running to God for peace and joy and hope and healing and wholeness and deliverance and everything else God provides. They run to the new age movement. They run to their crystal. They run to their oil. They run to whatever it is they run to, their meditation, their breath work. And unfortunately, most people don't realize they're actually opening themselves up to demonic spirits. And I know this because I've cast out demons from people that were heavily involved in the new age, and the demons came directly from the new age. So the answer is, as she's saying here, is it's running to Christ, it's turning to God, not running to these counterfeit, as she calls them, crutches or band-aids for a sinking ship, which is a great analogy there.
So that was like, it was a symbolic gesture, I guess, in a way, but it was my first like proclaiming of where I stand with certain things. And it was crazy to watch the reaction, because in the comments, it was like, I feel like you could see literal demons hissing at each other.
You said literal demons hissing at each other. A lot of fighting in the comments. Here's the best thing to do if you're a creator, especially on social media, is to not read comments. Man, I stopped reading most comments. I'll read some on my videos, but like especially negative videos or when you post something controversial, people just go crazy in the comments. I don't think we were made to have thousands of people criticizing us, talking about us. It's just not a healthy thing. So it's best if you're a social media influencer, creator, or online, just don't read the comments.
And it was coming from both sides, from people that were like, oh, I don't think Aleister Crowley's evil, or hey, like, why would you throw this away? You should give them to people. Like, that's so wasteful, or whatever. Or there's nothing wrong with what I see in these pictures. And then there would be the Christians that are like attacking and kind of saying equally as evil things too, that weren't helping anybody. And that night, I feel two people came to my house. So at the time we lived in LA and we had a gated house, and I was upstairs with my son and the doorbell rang and we had like a security system, and my husband looks and it was, he screenshotted it, and it was just this possessed person, who just was like, hi, I don't want to freak you out, but I just want to know if I could please have those books, like I really need those books. I need those books. And it was just like, and you could see the darkness in this eye, and like, like why I think, like when I say things, because I definitely.
So she says that the person that came to her door was possessed, had a demon that was asking for her books, her witchcraft books that she was throwing away. Interesting that she makes that distinction.
think
as well.
that people
Over spiritualized?
No, I just think a lot of people, especially in the Christian community, like call everything demonic, and I don't think everything is demonic.
Yeah.
Like, but in this case, I was like, I think this is
I will say not everything's demonic. I just taught this last week. The mistake of Deliverance Ministries is we say everything's a demon, and of course not everything is a demon. But on the flip side, I would say most pastors consider nothing a demon. Most leaders in the body of Christ right now consider nothing demonic and nothing a demon and don't deal with them. And so when you consider nothing a demon, you'll never fight in spiritual warfare. You'll never see deliverance. But when you consider everything a demon, I think that's an error as well, because then you're walking on eggshells. Everything you drink, everything you do is you get a demon, which is not true, obviously. So there is some truth to what she's saying.
a definition of a demon. Like, this person is possessed and is no longer in control of what they would normally do because they're obsessed either with fame or with the desire to bring certain evils into your life, you know? I think that's crazy. You know, my husband ushered him away. Then the second person came and they tried to break into our trash cans.
Wow.
Which I had already
thrown. To get the books.
Huh?
To get the books.
Yeah. Which were all readily available online anyway. I mean, I did have like
Yeah.
first editions of stuff, but it's like, what is it in you that's like so desperate for, you know, like again, trying to find these answers in the wrong places, a literal trash can.
Yeah.
You know, and
Think about what she just said. They're looking for answers in a literal trash can. She throws all her witchcraft books in the trash, and then two people come to her door. One of them, she said, was demonized, possessed, saying, I want those books. I need those books. And she's like, what is it in you that's looking for answers in a trash can? Isn't that the New Age movement, though? Is like, oh, man, what a good point.
it kind of was like a very like sobering moment for me because I was like, man, like this, I don't want to have anything to do with this, you know, anymore.
Definitely spiritual. All right, sorry that we're skipping the ad. I'll apologize for that.
Let me tell y'all
Let's
about
move in a
Meaningful
little bit here.
and real than it is when you're a child just doing it because this is what we do, you know, and this is
Now she's talking about going to church.
You know? So I mean, I'm on fire for Jesus. Like
Come on. W in the chat. Somebody type W in the chat right now. She said, I'm on fire for Jesus. You love to hear it, especially from what her past life was. And now I'm honestly, I don't know her. Obviously, I talked to her on Instagram for a second, but I'm proud of her, what she's doing, going after God. I did a little review of her pastor and her church and how I thought a lot of stuff he was saying was awesome. I mean, I couldn't find anything wrong with what he was saying. Not that I'm here to be the judge of everybody's church, but I just think it's awesome the path that she's on. It's clear that she's still growing and learning and asking questions. Even in this interview, she's asking questions to Ellie. What do you think about secular music? What do you think about this? So she's still on that journey, as we all are. We all are. We're still learning and growing, but it's beautiful for her to say the words like, I'm on fire for Jesus. So, hey, keep that fire going, Katvond D, and that's awesome what God is
I
doing in your
don't
life.
plan on this dimming out. Like the more and more I learn, the more and more excited I get about things and the more at ease I am about what's happening in this world and what's happening in my marriage or in, you know, in all of it. So I do want to go back though to like the occult stuff because I don't even want to say occult stuff, but like, you know, just like the
It's okay. You can say it. You can say it, Kat. It is occult stuff. You're good.
tarot cards and all that stuff. Like, you know, not to diss any of my friends because I have a lot of friends that are into that stuff and I love them so much, you know. I have actually more empathy and understanding than I think an average person because I've been there. But I will say that my husband and I, we look at the Rolodex of friends that we have and the ones that are dictating their life through
Listen to what she says here.
And they're making life decisions through tarot or through, you know, some of the witchcraft stuff, like even the meditation stuff, or like, you know, and I'm going to definitely offend a lot of people, but like the ayahuasca trips or the meditation camps and silent retreats, all the things that I used to do, except I never did ayahuasca, but like, they're all so miserable.
Listen to what she just said. She said all the people that do the ayahuasca trips, the tarot card, they guide their life through New Age. And of course, all these things open you up to demonic spirits. We know this because there's either demonic spirits, the Holy Spirit. She says they're all miserable. This is what that road leads to.
Yeah.
And then listen to this.
They're the most broke people. Usually most of them are single. They don't have stability. And I'm
Broke, single, no stability. That's like these psychic houses. They're always broken down. I'm like, how are you a psychic? And your house is all broken down. And
talking about like both financial and like the love around them.
Right.
There's always this drama and dread and doom and gloom. And I was one of them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's one thing that I would look around at my Christian friends and I'm like, they're not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
But I want what you have, you know? Like I
wow, she looks at Christians and says, I want what you have.
love the light that you have. And it's like, so, you know, we're like, let's not be dummies anymore. And let's just like figure out what this obviously hasn't worked for us, you know?
Let's not, I love it. She's like, this isn't working. The New Age isn't working. Let's just like think about this. I see Christians, they're married, they have joy, they have peace, they have their life together. Then I see people in the New Age and I'm like, the opposite. So something's going on there. You can't argue this, that Christians generally have happier lives. They get married, they have kids, they hold a job. Usually they're not addicted. Usually they're not on drugs. They're usually good members to society. This is what the gospel teaches. Work hard.
Well, let's like explore this. And so that's kind of like my whole perspective on it. I think, again, like I have no intentions of cutting off my friends that I don't necessarily agree with or, don't see things the same way. I don't think Jesus would either. And so it's like, because I got a lot of criticism after I posted that baptism video. And I think that like Christians, when you do that, you don't realize how much harm you're doing. Like I would look at a lot of the comments that I got, and they were really cruel and very, very annoying.
Did Jesus say they'll know you because of your hate for one another or your love for one another? Why are we such haters? Why is the Christian community, I'm talking to all of you, why are we such haters? Why is everybody always hating on each other? Everybody's false, everybody's wrong but me. I don't understand this. What is all the hate for? Why are we this way?
Knowingly holier than thou. And I would look at some of them and say, okay, let's look at like what is to be gained from this comment. Like who does it help? Like to be a know-it-all. Like who does it help? Does it help me? Does it help all my other followers following and like witnessing the judgment and the criticism and definitely of not knowing the other person, like everyone's like, oh, well, she's a baby Christian. So, you should cut her some slack. It's like, I'm not a baby Christian. I mean, I just recently got baptized, but like, I'm not like, this didn't happen yesterday. Like I have an understanding of a lot of the things that people are talking about. Like, I'm not going to dress like how you think I'm going to dress. Like nothing's changing in that department. Like even like with like the music that I make or some of the content that I make, it's like, it's not for you, it's not for you. You have no idea how many DMs that I got from like other goth kids that are in the same boat as I was. They're going, man, I'm at this crossroad and I want to go back to church, but like, I don't have a church to go to.
I think it could be in a year or two, some of her mind changes on some of this. I think some of her mind changes as she's in church, continuing in her word and prayer. I'm not here to judge, but I think some of the stuff our minds change on, our convictions change on, and we see things differently. And then,
Or I feel like even within my own family unit, people
let me see.
have like,
finding a church. Let's look at this.
I'm like, yeah, you have to go. Like that's going to be a rule now, and do I have to go? And I'm like, yeah, you have to go. Like that's going to be a rule now, And
I think she's talking about her husband.
When we moved to Indiana, I was like, our first mission is to find our church, and like it might take us a year, it might take us a week, but we got to just try. And I had a list of Baptist churches that I wanted to explore. And
that's so awesome. She said our first mission is to find a church, which guys, we got to get in a church. Come on now, get in a local church.
Why Baptist? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just curious about that.
Well, I mean, I'm not too much into denominations either, but I feel like when I look at the breakdown of like their approach to scripture is just like aligns with what, what I feel. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm for it, obviously.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I'm supportive as a lifelong Baptist myself, but I just was curious about that. Okay, so.
Yeah, and I wasn't born into a Baptist church, so it's like, I think like, to me, it's cool to be able to, like I said, as an adult, have an understanding. And I looked at things like there's things about, I'm seeking more traditionalism. Like I don't, like when it comes to my worship, and this is just for me, it's like, I want to worship. Like, I don't want to go to a concert. I don't want to,
Shots fired. Shots fired. She said, I want to go worship, not go to a concert. That's what we've made church. Let's be honest. A lot of our churches look more like a nightclub and a concert than they do worship. She's saying, she's true.
I don't like I dress, we all dress nice when we go to church. That's just our own personal thing. Like this is a sacred space. And like, like that's how I do it. And I feel like, other outlets and stuff like just didn't really align with what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
But so I feel like God just like spit me out on the doorsteps of the most perfect church for us, and we go in there, and there's, it's a very small congregation. It's a lot of old people, and my parents were always late as a kid, so I have anxiety about being late. I do not like being late.
Me too. Amen. Not because my parents were always late, but I hate being late. Oh, I'm usually never late to anything.
And so I was like, all right, well, I got there too early, and we interrupted their prayer circle, and these people just stood up and embraced us. And
think about this though. This is a small church. I think she said 10, 15 people, and it looks to be about 10 or 15 people in the church. And then you're praying in a circle, and then Katvond D walks in. Like that's pretty crazy. And she's looking for a small church. She doesn't want a concert-like celebrity mega church. She's like, I'm looking for a small church. So that's pretty awesome that they're in a prayer circle, and then Katvond D walks in. Like, that's amazing.
They were just, they didn't really care about who people think we are. They were just like, oh yeah, you're the lady that bought the house down the street, and we've actually been praying for you. And like,
wow, they said they've been praying for her. That's powerful.
And so then I was like, okay, well, let's try this out, because it's like, I want to see if what the pastor's all about, pretty much. Like, I want to learn about the Bible. Like, I don't want like necessarily feel good stories, or like,
come on.
Like I'm here to learn. And then Pastor Brian is like, that's what he's all about. So I was like, man, I can't believe that, we got lucky and found this place so quickly, and we love it. And so my husband responds to that, and like, we he's learning in his own, on his own path and in his own way, and so that's been good. But then I feel like when we step out of that place, like that's when it becomes like triggering for him, and
well, you're in a unique position because you have such.
So she goes on to talk, and you guys can watch this. We won't watch the whole thing here. I'll link their interview down below, but I think it's an awesome conversation that they're having, talking about some hard topics. But the takeaway is, as she said, she was in the new age, meditation, yoga, all of that. It was just a Band-Aid. It was just a crutch. And that's what this is. We have a lot of content on this channel exposing these things, because we want to see people come out of that. We want to see people get free from that. And so, hey, I'm praying for Katvond D. I think all of us should pray for her. Let me know in the chat what you thought about this interview. What you thought about this video, how excited you are that celebrities are getting saved. I just had Gideon on a couple weeks ago, and he is a major celebrity, and here he is now serving God, on fire for God. So to hear her say, I'm on fire for Jesus, to hear her say, I don't want this stuff in my life anymore, I think is amazing. I think it's just the beginning of what God is doing in her life and wants to do. And so that's awesome. I'm here for it. I love it. Guys, if you don't know, we're live Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And also, if you want all my 2-hour Bible teachings and hour-long teachings, go to my live tab on YouTube. If you don't know, I have hundreds of hours of Bible teaching, deliverance training, topics of spiritual gifts, and everything. You got to go to the live tab. The video tab, these are 10-minute, 20-minute reactions, small teachings. But all the main meat on the channel is on the live tab. Make sure you check out the live. And then pray about becoming a monthly partner. We are supported by monthly partners, as all of our content is free here on YouTube. So you can sign up down below. That helps us out tremendously. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Be praying for Katvond D. I think what God is doing is amazing in her life, and we'll see you in the next video.